And now, another episode of the Game Changers podcast with Sydney and Luke Hurst.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Game Changers podcast. It is just Luke and I today. We promised you that we would do this every week or every other week, and we do not have a guest today, but there's a lot of stuff happening in sports, and we were not on last week, so there's a lot to catch up on. First of all, the reason we were not on last week is I was out of the country on a lovely vacation, which I'm still recovering from. This is why the look of me, good thing this is a podcast, because I look a little dead. I'm still on European time, which is 7 hours in advance of Eastern time. Sleep schedule
Eastern Standard Time, yes.
Yes. Anyway, so this is where we are. But that, we are excited to be back. I'm excited to be back. Luke, how was your past week?
Good. I actually had to be at school, unlike you.
Somebody graduated.
Nothing crazy happened. We had a doubleheader against in Division 3, you get 1 day to play another team. So we played Rowan College of South Jersey. It's a junior college. Played 2 games. I played the second game and played pretty well. So,
Yay!
yeah.
How did you? You said did you play first?
I DH'd.
DH? Where'd you go?
0 for 3, but I didn't strike out. So
Slay! Silver
that's all that
line.
matters. I didn't strike out. I barreled baseballs. They just didn't find any holes.
He barrels, guys. He hits barrels. Well, let's just hop right into baseball since that's the topic we are on. We're in playoff season. Very exciting.
Yeah, I have it
Everyone
on
lives for
TV
postseason
right now.
baseball, and I am excited for it.
Yeah, I have it on the TV right now. The wild card series was last week-ish. It was like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So that was good. I have the Phillies-Dodgers game on at the moment.
Two of my
next to
favorite
me.
teams.
And then I'm honestly shocked that the Padres didn't win and beat the Cubs. The Cubs are more of a defensive team.
Mm-hmm.
They're not too much of a hitting, offensively
No.
prominent team, but they do play in Chicago, which is one of the hardest stadiums to hit in because the wind blows in all day, every day. So
they kind of have to be a defensive team in order
so they have
to
to be a
win.
defensive team, and they have to play a little small ball. And they beat the Padres in 3 games. So yeah, I foresee and then the Yankees beat the Red Sox, and then I'm trying to remember the other 2 series, but
I have a feeling, and maybe it's just me, but I thought the Phillies looked pretty good regular season.
yeah, they lost yesterday, or they lost on Saturday.
Regular season, not postseason. But I have a feeling. I have nothing against the Dodgers, but they win all the time. They have a very large sum of money that they can spend on players, and so they get the best players. And so obviously, when you have the best players, you should win. But other teams look pretty good. And
Yeah, no, they did.
I mean, I think the Phillies look pretty decent. I'm kind of, like you said, pretty shocked by the Cubs. I'm actually shocked by the Tigers, and maybe that's just me, but I feel like they're never really.
They're a pitching team. They have some good pitchers. Their hitting is inconsistent, but I think if they can manage to put some good innings together and they pitch the good pitchers that they have pitch well, they should make it. But Screwball can only pitch 1 game or 2 games a series max. Like they won the night prior. They won on Saturday night.
Who was pitching that game? Do you know?
I can't remember off the top of my head. Screwball pitched last night.
Okay.
They lost last night to the Mariners. See now, but the Mariners are a good team. They're a good team. They have good pitching. It just depends on what they end up doing. These teams, I don't see the Tigers winning the World Series. I don't see the Mariners winning the World Series. I don't see the Phillies winning the World Series. Maybe the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers are going to beat the Phillies in the series. The Yankees are going to get blown out. They're going to lose tomorrow. It's not even going to be close. They lost huge in the first 2 games. So I see it either being the Dodgers or the Brewers are my final two in the NL. In the AL, I'm going to say the Blue Jays and Tigers. I don't see it going anywhere else than that.
Really?
But I don't. It's a weird season. Some of the big teams didn't play too well and aren't playing too well. Like the Dodgers
No.
weren't
Yes.
top two team in the in the league.
I
Not
will.
normal.
No, not normal. But I will also say that I'm shocked, but also not really, that the Brewers are in the postseason. And the
Brewers
reason
are
I
the
say
best. The Brewers were the best team in baseball. So if they
yes,
don't make it
what I'm
past
saying. Well, the reason I'm surprised is because you haven't. At least maybe it's just me, but I haven't seen their name up there as much. But
they don't
are
have as many big name players.
no, but they are such a developed. They develop their players really well. They have a really good system in place. So when those players perform, they perform. And as a whole, like again, not super big players, but that's why they're winning. It's always good to have an Aaron Judge, a Freddie Freeman, those kind of players. But when you have
Well, I mean, like the
but when you have an entire team of above average players and they all have developed well, that's when you get the Brewers, and that's when you get to the postseason.
yeah, I mean,
There's
but
benefits
like
to both sides,
the
obviously.
Padres or the Brewers have some decently named players, but like they're not like crazy. No offense to any Brewers fans who are watching, but like they have some former playoff players and Reese Hoskins, who has been there before. But they're young. Like they have, I mean, William Contreras hasn't really played the. Danny Jansen has, but he's not their starting catcher. So they have some. They're only really big name playoff player who's played in the playoffs and has big time playoff experience is Reese Hoskins, who played for the Phillies. Everybody else is a younger player. I mean,
Yeah. And I'm interested to see
played well.
how they do in postseason.
Yeah.
Like once they get farther along, see how the pressure affects them. So that's really cool. I've
Well,
always
just
had
like
a.
if you look at
I
the
was like,
game, the box score, the Brewers won 9-3. It wasn't a close game,
mhm.
and that's pretty good in a playoff game. First playoff game, they haven't played in over a week. That's pretty good for all of your guys to play well in the first playoff game, and most of them don't have too much playoff experience. So
Right.
that's interesting because, like, usually if you think about it, the wild card teams can have an advantage because they haven't or they have been playing. Like it's just normal. They're just playing and they're in a rhythm. But for the teams that have buys, the two teams on each side have a bye. They don't play for a week, and their only thing is to do inter squads, and that's not really simulating any real competition. Um, as the Orioles have seen the last two times they've had buys.
I was
They
gonna say
suck.
the Orioles.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, so
So
like
to
I
be
mean,
able to have a good first game after a bye week is already a really good thing when a lot of things are going against them.
yeah, totally agree.
Yeah. I think that they're a really solid team without having huge names. I think it's great. I would love to see
Yeah,
them win.
I mean, but yeah, they play well. So
You did.
it'll be the Brewers and the Dodgers and the NLCS and the Blue Jays and the um, Blue Jays and the Tigers in the ALCS. But yeah, so
I'm excited. I'm excited to keep doing this and discuss as we go, as these games continue. So, well, the Ryder Cup was last week. Now,
was.
I was on a boat in the middle of the ocean, and there were not a lot of sports on TV. But every time I looked at the screen, it was always Europe beating the U.S. like 8.5 to 3.5. So
yes, it was really bad.
let's debrief.
All right, so they got their butt whooped
The
basically
U.S. did.
for the first 2 days.
Ooh, Scotty beat Rory.
Yeah, on Sunday.
Yes.
All right, so they lost the first session 3-1.
Who did?
The Americans. Friday afternoon, they lost 2.5 to 1.5. So they were down 5.5 to 2.5 total after the first day. Not horrible, but they're behind. They needed to win 3 of the 4. They needed to be up 3 matches in the next 8. So they needed to get tied with the Europeans after the second day. They needed to be 5-3 to be tied, to even it up going into Sunday, to make it really where they had a chance. Well, Saturday morning they lost 3-1. So it was 8.5 to 3.5, and then Saturday afternoon they lost 3-1. So it was 11.5 to 4.5. Well, with the Ryder Cup, you have to get 14 points to keep it. So if you won it the year prior, you have to get 14 points to keep it. If you get 14.5, you win it outright. So the U.S. team had to get 14.5 because they can theoretically tie at 14-14. So if they tie at 14-14, the team that won it the year prior keeps it.
Wow.
So if you want to get 14.5 to know, like to earn it, you earned it, you won it outright. Well, so Sunday, they were down 11.5 to 4.5, which my quick math says that is 7 points. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So they were 7 points down. They needed 10 matches to win and 9 matches to tie. Okay? Well, Sunday morning, one of European guys, Victor Hovland, pulled out with a neck injury. So that means that the one match is halved. So each team gets a half point. The guy he was going to play gets a half point. Now, you might realize, well, who does the U.S. pick to not play? Well, at the beginning of the tournament, the Ryder Cup, the captain puts one name into an envelope and hopes he never has to open it, which means the other team, each team does it, and it's just in case one player on Sunday can't play for the other team, you pick the guy in the envelope to not play that Sunday match. Well, for the U.S., it was Harris English. So he didn't play. So that match gets halved. So right off the bat, it's 12-5. So now the Europeans only need 2 points to win. Instead of 2.5, they only need 2 now. And the U.S. needs 9 points. It's impossible. The U.S. lost. But it got to 6-7 matches in where the U.S. were still had a chance. So that's way farther than it ever should have gotten. But the final score was 15-13. So, in all actuality, the U.S. really only needed one more win and they would have tied.
That would have been great.
After being down 7 points. It was like mathematically impossible. Like nobody thought they were going to win. They had like a 1% chance to win the Ryder Cup. And they only almost.
They weren't far off.
They were not far off. They only needed to win one more match. And the one match that ended up winning it for the Europeans was Shane Lowry's match when he was against Russell Henley, who missed a putt to win the match, and he missed it. So they halved it, and that got them their half point to get 14 to retain the cup. But if he makes that putt and wins the match, they tie. So it was very close. It was very close.
Now, if they tied, though, wouldn't Europe still win?
Yes. But they wouldn't have won it outright. They would have won it because they won it the last year. They never. So like,
Got it.
as a pride thing, you want to win it outright. You want to be the one who won. You don't want to tie and go here's your trophy. You guys tied. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
It's almost like it doesn't count.
yeah, kind of.
Interesting. Very cool.
Yeah.
In other news, football. Most
Okay.
recent news was that the Ravens kind of sucked.
Ravens are horrible. I mean, plain and
Ravens
simple, horrible. I mean, it doesn't help when you have 8 starters who are hurt on the defense.
Yeah, there are a lot of teams recently that I've noticed have been hurt. There are a lot of players on a lot of different teams that are hurt, and I don't know if that is better awareness or if that's just more people are getting injured. Like, are they just cracking down on
I think it's more people are getting
minute
injured,
injuries.
honestly. I don't think it's anything with more awareness, because there have always been like aware of of like people getting hurt. They're not just gonna let them play if they're hurt. I think it's just more injuries. Like I genuinely think more guys are getting hurt. Don't know why. Um, and just so happens that the Ravens are getting the brunt of it. I mean, they have a ton of guys hurt, and when you have that many guys hurt, you're just not going to win games with your backup
But you
players.
can't have a team. There's no team. There's no team environment. You have
It's
people
not
that
just
have
their team
played.
environment; they're all still there. It's just like you're playing your third and fourth string
Well,
defenders.
no, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's not.
What do you
It's
expect?
different.
I mean, yeah, it just sucks. I mean, it sucks. There's
I
eight
mean,
starters on defense.
yeah. I mean, for example, I don't know if we talked about this last time because I don't remember when it happened. The Gamecocks, mid game, I believe 3 weeks ago, our quarterback got injured, and they had to bring in the second string quarterback, and it was not good. Not because he wasn't good, but because the quarterback, Norris Sellers, is so good at what he does, and he is such an asset to the team, and he does so much that him not being there, it's really hard to replace him. And so then the team environment and the way that the team moves and how they trust each other and work together on doesn't work. And I feel like that's the same way when you have all these players injured. Like, it's really hard to win when you're playing against a team that has all their players and they practice the same teams all day, every day, and they're used to each other. It's just different.
Yeah, I agree. It's tough. It really is just tough when when you don't get to play the guys you're supposed to play, when the guys you are playing haven't had enough time and practice to play because they're only playing in the practice squad, inter squad games on during the week. It's tough. It really is tough. It's a whole different ballgame when you get to play against an actual other team. So, but I mean, there are some teams that have surprised everybody with like the Colts. The Colts didn't expect. Nobody expected the Colts to be this good. Nobody expected the Jaguars to be this good. Nobody thought the Bills were going to lose to the Patriots on a last-second field goal. Like that wasn't expected. The Bills are good. Like they beat good teams already this year. Nobody expected them to lose to the Patriots. Again, that's what's good about sports is when the whole league is dispersed and the good teams can lose to anybody and the bad teams can beat anybody. That means the disparity is good, and that's what I feel like all sports fans like when the same team doesn't win every year.
Right. Which is why in all sports, including what we were talking about earlier with baseball, the Dodgers are in it, but they might not win. You know, the Astros aren't in it.
Yeah.
The Yankees will
The
not
first time.
probably. Right.
No, it's the first or second time since like 2017 the Astros haven't been in the playoffs.
Exactly. And it's just refreshing to have a different team in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same in football. And I agree with you. I think that when you have good competition, it's good that there's a team that's not supposed to be good, but they are.
Yeah.
It's a lot more
agree.
fun to watch when you're sitting down watching a game and you don't know who's going to win. Because it's anyone's game.
Yep,
And there's
I
so many
completely
different
agree.
factors like injuries and, I mean, just talent level that affects everything. And I love that. I love that there's a lot of different environmental factors that affect a team's success. And it's cool when they just prove everybody wrong.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's what sports are about.
It's a lot more entertaining. What about college football?
College football. Penn State. I'm sorry to Jake. One of my best friends. He is a huge Penn State fan. Went to Penn State. Was at the whiteout game last week against Oregon, where they lost in overtime. And then they lost to UCLA, who hasn't won a game yet. They're horrible. They just changed their coordinator. First time he's ever called plays in a game, and they beat the number 7 team in the country at the time. Preseason, they were number 2. They have now dropped out of the rankings. And then Texas, with Arch Manning, have dropped out of the rankings.
Yeah.
They lost yesterday they lost to Florida. Now, Florida's good. Don't get me wrong. Florida's good. But they are not ranked.
Well, it's also, again,
I don't know if the pressure's gotten the best of him or what, but I don't
know
know.
what it is either, but I remember, I mean, in any sport, like Jackson Holiday, for example, like when you have a name and everyone has this expectation of you, you're not going to fulfill the expectation of everybody, but it's crazy to watch how someone can be affected by that pressure. And I think that
Yeah.
Arch Manning is.
He's completely affected by it
I
right
think
now.
he's incredibly talented, but I think that the expectation and probably, I mean, from everywhere, his coaches, his team, his, whatever it may be, the media, everyone's expecting him to be this amazing quarterback, and he's not doing it. And I think it's a lot of mental, which, I mean, every sport is, but Florida is pretty good.
They're decent. They're not like ranked, so I don't know how
They're
you.
unranked, so
They
they can
need to
only
be.
be
I'm
so
sorry.
good.
If a ranked team loses to an unranked team, that's an unacceptable loss, in my opinion.
Yes.
If a ranked team, especially if you want to make the college football, but you have to win every game against unranked teams. If you lose to a ranked team, you can live with it. But if you lose, like Penn State was 7th in the country after they lost to Oregon, they can live with that because Oregon's really good. Because they only went from like 4 to 7, like 5 to 7. They didn't drop. But you go from 7th to unranked because you lose to the worst team in the country. That's where you end up hurting yourself.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I did have a question, and this just came up. I have seen that there are, and maybe this is just me actually paying attention for the first time, there are a lot of managers getting fired in the MLB. I've seen like 8. Is that normal?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Especially since some of these teams haven't had really good years. Their owners and GMs feel the pressure from the fan base and they want to win now. And they need to get a new manager in there to get some like new energy, new blood, whatever you want to call it, to then get some wins on the board. Like they don't want to just keep like asking why did the Orioles fire their manager? Because they were losing. They needed
Right, but why
they needed
fire
to
them
get some new
after the
energy.
season?
You want to, I mean, if you're already out of the playoffs, there's no point in firing him then. I mean, you can wait till the end of the season, or they wait to the end of the season. His contract was he wanted more money, or like something else could have happened. But they also want to see who else fires their managers in case they wanted that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like some teams may wait. Some teams may do it early. The Orioles did it early in the season because they were still looking to make the playoffs.
Well, see, that makes more sense. To fire mid-season because you're losing, bring in new blood, then you can actually win games. But to fire your manager,
Yeah, but they're firing him at the end of the
and
season because they didn't play as well as they thought to at the end, when the season's over. So they made a decision to get rid of him and bring in somebody else next year. Because in the middle of the season, you can't hire any other new managers. You have to have an interim manager who's already on staff. Like the Orioles put their third base coach as their new manager. So if you want new blood, really, you have to go and wait till the end of the season to get a new coach. You can't really just bring somebody in the middle of the season.
yeah, I guess there's not really a ideal time, but I just thought it was interesting. I mean, I get why you would hire a new manager at the end of the season so that the development to start the next season has the coach.
Yeah,
and
he's got his
style,
stuff
his
written all
style.
over it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I get why firing mid-season is not the best option. I was just surprised at how many teams were firing their managers.
I mean, I'm surprised, yeah, but it's not as many as it's not as many as it could have been.
I just saw like.
I mean, the Brewers made the playoffs last year and fired their manager.
That's true. Let me see. Who did I see? I know it was the Giants, the Braves.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you're right. The Rangers hired the former Marlins manager. Like you said. Mm-hmm.
I mean, in my opinion, sometimes it's recycling trash.
Yeah.
Now, Sometimes that manager's good. He was just put in a bad situation, didn't have the best players, so it doesn't always end up being his fault, so to speak. Maybe
Right.
maybe the general manager and the ownership didn't give him what he wanted, I guess you could say. Um, but
Yeah.
if you look
The
at
yeah.
some of these guys, what's a good example? Osmus. Been the manager on like 5 different teams. Right now he's the bench coach for the Yankees. Never really did anything as a manager, and he was decent. He was good, but he didn't win any World Series. Not that I can remember off the top of my head. But you look at Bob Melvin. He's been all over. He's been with the Giants forever. He was a great manager. I think the Giants hired him back for a second time. But
They
he
just fired him.
yeah, exactly. They the Giants won 2 World Series in 5 years, or 3 World Series in 6 years, something like that. Bob Melvin has been with 5 teams, and he's won Manager of the Year 3 separate times. He won the World Series in '01 as a assistant coach, but he never won the World Series with any of his managerial teams he's been a manager at. Um, but like teams keep coaches for a while. He was with the Oakland A's for 10 years,
Yeah.
and then has been with the Padres for a year, and then was with the Giants for a year, and they fired him quickly. They gave him 1 year, and they fired him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you never really know why some teams fire. Like don't give them enough time. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's like
Well, I have found that. I mean, I'm a Gamecock fan, and watching our baseball team cycle through coaches, even after one season, you can't expect it. Or you, I mean, you
well, you
can.
guys still have the same coach, right?
We do now, but the media
Are trying to get rid of
and
him or want him to get rid of
they
him?
want it because he didn't win, because he didn't make
Yeah,
it
but
to
it's
the
1 year of his system. He's got to
exactly,
implement
and
his
it's
entire
really
system.
hard. It's really hard to. I mean, we can go on. I could go on a tangent about college baseball with the transfer portal. It's hard for a coach to win when you have an entire new team, the next year. But but yeah, you can't. I mean, after 1 year, I mean, I get it based on a lot of other factors that we don't know about, money and contract and et cetera, et cetera. But I think you got to give him more than 1 year, unless that's agreed upon. That if you don't win in a year, you're fired. So,
It's just so I don't
I
know.
was surprised.
Buster Posey had to make a decision with the Giants. I don't know why he chose that, but he had to make a decision. That's what he thought was best.
What
Who was it
has the
again?
Angels manager been there a long time? It was Ron Washington.
No, he has not been there. Why? He's been there maybe 2 years. He was the third base coach for the Braves for like 10 years, or like
Gotcha.
not
I
10
thought
years.
he looked familiar.
Probably 5 years. He was the third base coach with the Braves, and before that, he was a manager. Um, he's been a manager and a assistant coach for a while, but he's been with them for 2 years, I think. But I don't think it's my hot take on the Angels. Their general manager is not the best. They at one point had the 2 best players in the world, Otani and Trout, and couldn't make the playoffs. You had Trout, who was the best player in the world for a good 5 to 10 years, made one playoff game, and it was a wild card game back before they did this wild card series. It's not the manager;
No.
it's the GM. They signed Carlos Rondon to a like 8-year deal, and he's played like 100 games in 5 years. Like it's just like I don't know if they make the best decisions in signing people, and don't really think it's the manager, but
No, but it's an easy
I don't know.
band aid.
And Trout is loyal. I feel bad for him because he's just going to stay in LA until he's done. And the dude's never going to win a World Series. And he had the chance to leave, and he chose to stay. And the GM and the owner didn't do anything about it. They didn't sign anybody else to help him. They just kept the same team basically. Like I don't think it's Ron Washington. Ron Washington's a great coach. He won 2 World Series with the Braves. I don't think it's him.
I think it's just an easy fix, a band aid for the public.
I I mean, yes, but then like you're gonna bring in somebody else. He's not gonna do well because you're not signing anybody, and you're gonna fire him too. So it's like, when do you realize what the right decision is?
When all the pieces line up.
I think it's they don't want to spend money.
Probably. It's Moneyball. Truly.
I mean, the Orioles haven't spent any money.
But our games are fun.
Kind of. They need to spend money, or they're gonna lose all their guys.
Yep.
So, but
Yeah.
on other sport news, hockey starts this week. I think opening night is either tomorrow or Wednesday's opening night. I don't know if you heard about this, but a preseason game between the Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning had 322 penalty minutes.
No, it did not.
322 penalty minutes in a preseason game. Fights galore. It was a very, very vicious game.
Why?
I don't know, but there was 322 penalty minutes.
That's wild. That just makes me excited for this.
16 players got ejected.
That just makes me excited for this season. Very physical.
I mean, that's not really what you want to see in a preseason game is 16 ejections.
Not in a
I don't
preseason
even know how.
game. No.
Now I kind of want to watch the
nothing
highlights
riding.
of that game because 16 ejections, there can only be, do the math for me, because I know how many people can be on the bench at once. So it's 4 lines of 3 forwards, that's 12.
Very nice.
And then
Good job.
3 lines of 2 defensemen.
Of 2 is 6.
3 lines of 2 defensemen is 6. So 6 and 12
You got it.
is 18.
Very nice.
And 2 goalies is 20. So with 16 ejections on 2 teams, there's 40 guys. 40 minus 16 is 24. 24 guys were left. Divide that by 2.
You have 12.
You have 12 guys on each team. I don't know how you finish a game.
I don't know either. And when
So
there's
I'm
nothing
very
riding,
curious.
it's a preseason game. There's nothing riding on the line. There was no need.
I know,
for that
it's just hockey is different. That's why I like it. Like if you watch the Four Nations face-off last year, it was physical as all get out. And I love that about hockey. Hockey is a real physical sport, and I like that because it's not like in the NFL or the MLB or NBA where their all-star games are like just trick shot contests basically, where they play the game and it's not really competitive. Hockey, they weren't playing for any money. It was just pride on your country or for your country, and they literally were going at each other. Like it was a real game, like a real like playoff atmosphere game. And I
love
love
hockey for that reason
I
because
love
there's a
that.
yeah. There. I mean, I love that there's a designated person that is supposed to be that person. You
Yeah.
know, like Tom Wilson is
He's
that person.
I mean, him and like Brad Marchand, perfect example, is a very rough player. Some people may hate him.
But if someone's going to get in a fight, it's going to be him, and it's a crucial part of the game.
Yeah, you gotta have like they have these so-called lines that are physical lines. Like it's usually the third or fourth line on a hockey team, where like the first line is your best players, the second line is your is your next best 3 guys, and one of your third or fourth lines, your fourth line may be your checking line, is what they call it. Where those guys are your physical guys who, if you're down in a game and you need some momentum, you put in that line against the other team's number 1 line, and they'll go out and just ram everybody and get the momentum back and score a scrappy goal. So it's you don't see that in any other sport where you have designated players who are your scrappy players, where if you need them to go get you some rough goals or some hard checks to change some momentum, or a fight to change the momentum, you can. Hockey's the only sport where fighting is legal, besides boxing. But the goal of hockey is to score a goal, not to fight.
Right.
That's why
It's just a critical part of the game. It adds so much to a sport that is already action-packed.
I agree.
Yeah. But it's not, but what's cool about it, so excited for hockey season to start.
Yeah, Ovechkin is still playing. How? I have no idea, but he is. And hopefully the Caps decide to play well this year. They made the playoffs last year. They just didn't play well, but
I love the
hopefully
Caps.
they got it.
They're such a wholesome team. I love. You talk for hours, but I have to go eat dinner. So Thank you for everyone who decided to tune in today on this Yap session of sports with just me and Luke. I had a lot of fun, and I learned a lot, actually. I always learn a lot when I talk with Luke. So I hope that y'all learned something as well, and I hope you had a lot of fun, just like we did. And we will see you next week when the Game Changers podcast returns.